Hey guys, XJ9 here, and today's going to be a video about how to get ready for the Sanctum of Rebirth, which is coming out on the 22nd, or I believe, so this is the next RuneScape update. And I'm going to be talking about setups for solo and also for setups for duo and trio. So the first setup I'm going to show is, there's going to be two setups by the way, is the Necromancy setup, which is the setup that the majority of players are probably going to go with, especially solo players. So you're going to bring the first Necromancer robes. I'm going to bring personally a tier 90 tank top because it's the defense bonus along with the HP bonus, and while still maintaining the set bonus of the first Necromancer robes is really good. So until I get more used to things, I'm definitely just gonna take this. Ring of Death, just because we don't. I'm assuming there are checkpoints after every boss, but like you don't know if like maybe the last phase of a boss, you might die to something. So Ring of Death might come clutch for saving early kills, especially when you don't know what's gonna happen. So when I get more used to things, I'll probably just take Zorgath's ring, honestly, not Reaver's ring, because you want the hit chance. You know, Zemmergirl's Nexus, uh, Omni Guard, and Soulbound Lantern. So the book slot is, if you're gonna take a Blood Reaver for the infinite healing it gives with 1,000 heals every 3 seconds or 4 seconds, definitely take a Illuminate Book of War. It reduces their defense, although we don't know if their defense replenishes like a Rex or and Brago. It also applies a 3%, no, 3 affinity debuff for 15 seconds. And that's pretty good with Blood Reaver because the Blood Reaver procs can proc book procs. If you're not bringing a Blood Reaver, do not bring a Book of War. I would probably just recommend just to bring a Grimoire, just because it doesn't rely on hit procs. It's always consistent. But if you are taking Blood Reaver, I would definitely recommend Book of War just because we don't know, if Drain Defense is good. It also does decent damage, and 3% of three affinity is essentially 5 to 6% DPS increase, so that's pretty good by itself as well. And I'm gonna be taking a Appraisal Wand for this as well, just to apply Smoke Cloud. I'll probably forget to apply it, honestly. Bless Flask in case there's some weird prayer draining mechanic. Sorry, because of maybe that's usually a thing sometimes. I'm also bringing out Restore Flask because we also don't know if the boss will have some kind of mechanic like Zuck or Magister where your HP is drained. Considering it's about life, I'm assuming they will have an HP drain mechanic that you might be able to mitigate with Restores. So yeah, just bring one in case. Vitality Potion, obviously, to tank damage. A bunch of pouches that cast Disruption Shield and Shield Dome and Enfeeble, because since you can cast it without even using Ingenuity of Humans, that's nice. A Spectral Spear Shield for tanking if it's loud. Guys, whenever a boss says, "Oh, shut up," that's when you want to actually get tanky, cast Reflect, put on that Spectral Spear Shield, and you'll probably be fine. So whenever the boss says some crazy stuff, definitely recommend just using a defensive. That's usually the thing with RuneScape is like whenever a boss says something, they're doing it's either gonna be a stun or a high damage nuke. That's literally what it's gonna be. Blackstone arrows with a Bow of Last Guardian, and with Chroming 4. So the reason for this is because let's say I go into a fight and I had my Conjures up, but then they died. Before you resummon them, you can use Bow of Last Guardian, use Greater Ricochet into Rapid Fire, into like Piercing Shot, into Greater Ricochet if you want to finish out the stacks. And you'll have max stacks of Blackstone Arrow for a minus 15% armor reduction, which is pretty good. It stays on for I think 12 minutes or until the target's dead, so probably the whole fight. So that's pretty darn good if you ask me. And again, I will be doing it after my first set of Conjures die, not right away, because you want to have all the pre-buffs as possible. Bulwark for returning for top switch for barricades and debilitate. Debilitate's a very strong ability. Food, blubberfish and sailfish, overload, blah yada yada, and wool bombs. And yeah, the most important ability that this thing's probably going to skyrocket in price, probably, is the Lord of Bones Codex, the Invoke Lord of Bones. And it's because this is insane. So again, Blackstone arrows reduce armor by 15%, right? A max of 454 armor too. So the target needs to have about 3,000 armor. I think the tank is real boss in this game is maybe AOD. I think AOD is 20 2,738 armor. I'm pretty sure about that. Maybe Virago's tankier, but again, I'm talking about the armor bonus. Armor bonus and affinity bonus is different. They're separate. But yeah, the Lord of Bones is pretty insane because it has a max of 40% armor reduction. So more than double that of, almost triple of that of the Blackstone arrows. So 40% more damage is essentially like giving everyone, including yourself, a Dragon Scimitar special. Dragon Scimitar special is 25% accuracy to you, but this reduces armor. As long as they have a decent armor rating of like 2,500, 3,000 plus, this is incredible. We don't know if they might do something tricky, where maybe they only have 1,000 armor, but have like 2 affinity bonus or something like that, in which the Lord of Bones Codex and Blackstone arrows wouldn't be that good because affinity is separate from armor bonus. Again, I kind of hope they actually know that and maybe take advantage of that, because if they did that for certain parts, like, oh wow, we actually need to apply affinity debuffs here, not reduce armor rating. Like, they could literally give something an armor rating of 0, but what if they gave something like minus 50 affinity or something? I'm not sure if that's possible to do, but like, what if only because of the affinity bonus it has, you literally have like 10% hit chance, you know? They can do something like that. But assuming that they do give it a decent armor rating, yeah, this codex is bonkers. It does take a while to apply all the stacks. I'm not sure about the total time. I actually do not know how long it takes to apply all these stacks as a solo player, but I would assume it takes about 5 minutes, honestly, maybe even 6, to apply 200 stacks. So if you go with like duo or trio and your 3 necromancers, this would be fully applied within 2 minutes of the fight, or 2 or 3 minutes of the fight, which is pretty good. Essentially, you give all the necromancers a full Dragon Scimitar 25% accuracy bonus to a whole team, as well as, you know, like, the big thing about necromancy that it has an advantage over other styles. Advantage is it's a 120 skill. You know, melee is 99 attack. Like, so even though melee has a Dragon Scimitar special for 25% accuracy, does it really matter that much when necromancy exists? You know, when Blackstone arrows exist, when Lord of Bones Codex exists. So just saying, like, this codex is going to shoot up. So if you don't have this, I feel kind of bad because it's probably going to double in price, like 600, 800 mil. I actually didn't buy any of these, sadly. I'm still waiting for my Staphylus Liske merchant to go through. I don't think they're buffing Staphylus Liske, guys, just because I own it. But yeah, if you own some of these codexes, they're going to go way up. They're already going way up. I think they already went up like 60 mil. They're going to go so high. Besides that, I can kind of show you like what my other range stuff is going to be. And I will say all the styles are viable. I would say magic is probably the one style that might be kind of bad here, but we'll talk about that later. So another setup you can do, so again, this setup is for solo or maybe trio or duo trio. Like, if you all were necromancers and had Lord of Bones, you would have you'd probably be absolutely fine. I'm just saying, as long as one guy is applying Blackstone arrows after the first set of conjurers die, so they last for the rest of the fight, you're probably going to have a good time, because that's a total of 50. I'm not sure how it stacks, but, you know, it's 55% armor reduction. Not sure if it counteracts each other, but just saying. The other setup is a range setup, and again, similar to the necromancy, you might actually be able to either have just use range, or, you know, in duo or trio, you might be able to have all rangers. And the reason for that is just because Blackstone arrows are, well, you have access to them very easily because you're already using range. And the other thing is, what is the other thing, guys? We're going to be debuffing with this. Guys, I lost my train of thought. But I will say that the other thing we're going to be doing, because range is so good at adrenaline pumping, is using a Zeros Godsword. You can use like a Noxious Scythe, honestly. Probably Noxious Scythe is better because of the range bonus. And we're going to be using a Barrel Chest Anchor Essence of Finality and a Stasia's Warhammer Essence of Finality. And this is apply +9 affinity on the target. There's a cap of 10 affinity on a target, so +9 is pretty good. And because you're already +9, Vando's Warbook is probably not needed because it can't go above 10. I really wish I remember what else I was going to say about range. Oh yeah, sorry. It has access to wind arrows. Wind arrows give every basic attack hit, so Great Ricochet hits 8 times. you can get a total of 3% per stack, 3% hit chance and damage per stack to any special or threshold ability. So max is 45, but after a Greater Ricochet, you can have a total of 24% more accuracy and damage for that next ability, which is pretty insane. So range with wind arrows is probably gonna have no problem at this boss. Like, so if you're ranging, use wind arrows with death sport arrows, okay? And besides that, it's pretty much the same stuff, you know, just full Draculith armor to get my adrenaline back up, and Stalker's Ring with the Grimoire for, again, adrenaline. And I will explain to you quickly like how this rotation will go, and I'll explain like perhaps my Necromancy rotation. So again, I do think like because range is so strong, you might see you might even see, like, I'm not sure. Again, it depends on the value of the defense and affinity of the monsters. If even with wind arrows, like they still you don't always have access. Like, your basic abilities do not do that much damage because they're not benefiting from wind arrows. So if you need way more affinity bonus, that's where the Stasis Warhammer and Barrel Chest Anchor coming through. Barrel Chest Anchor does +4 affinity and 10% damage reduction for 1 minute. Stasis Warhammer is +5 affinity and minus defense for 1 minute as well. We don't, again, I'm assuming that they will replenish your defense stats. Otherwise, you can just spam like 5 Stasis Warhammers and the target will have 0 defense and you can just destroy it. I'm assuming they're going to put the overload effect and really hone down on armor reduction and affinity increasing. I don't think they're going to allow you to reduce the stat of defense on the target, which again is separate from so it's separate. So there's affinity increasing to make you hit more, armor on the target to, if it lowers, you hit more, and the defense level, if it lowers, you hit more. I think the defense level will have an overload effect because every boss almost like has an overload effect. I think like at this point, like not every boss, but most bosses do. I'm not even sure if Zamorak has that. I don't think Solak has an overload effect, and I think he does, but it's really slow, which is kind of funny. So to show you what I mean by how you would do this rotation, so I'm gonna quickly overload here, and let's just pretend we're doing the Sanctum and Rebirth, okay? So we're gonna overload and we're soul split, and well, I'm not sure we should soul split. Let's just put on Magic Prayer. So we're gonna drop down to Virago again. Just pretend this is Sanctum or Rebirth, okay? I'm gonna try to do this trick here, and we did it. So right off the bat, I'm gonna rapid fire to get my crit because I'm not. Again, we don't know if we can pre-stall at the fight or not. So we're going to rapid fire. Greater Ricochet. Then use your what is this called? You use Incinerate Shot. Then use double Essence of Finalities, Barrel Chest Anchor, and then oh my god, Virago, what? Okay, we're fine. So Virago hurts, guys. So at that point, you would want to use Rapid Fire, and you can get all your adrenaline back. And we're going to cast our Death Witness, and then Blackstone Arrows up. And just, you know, Serengabo, auto attack, and at this point he has max debuffs essentially. Like, look at that, 91% hit chance. I'm not sure what it was when we entered, but he has +9 affinity and 50% armor reduction. I'm sorry, Virago honestly just shreds, so I started by getting a little bit distracted. But that's essentially what the rotation is. Let me show you it again at dummies, just because, you know, being the tank at Virago phase 1 is probably one of the hardest hurting things in the game. I'm just saying. Because you can't even devotion it. Well, let's go ahead and test this at dummies fast. So to demonstrate the rotation again, it's gonna be rapid fire. You want to get those 5 stacks of. Oh shoot! Wait, we messed up, guys. We need to get that. We put back to the quiver on. I was playing my my Blackstone arrows. I wanted to say the name. I mean, you know what, guys. I'm gonna go to Virago. I don't like dummies, guys, but you know what? We're just gonna do both. We're gonna do both, guys. So to demonstrate, you would rapid fire, and then we have our Desport Arrow effect. Then you would Incinerate Shot, swap to Zeros Godsword, special with Barrel Chest Anchor and Stasis Warhammer. Go back to your range setup. Greater Ricochet. We're trying to get back to 100% adrenaline. or 100% adrenaline. You would Death Witness, then you would Rapid Fire, and then we're gonna just absolutely smoke this guy in a second. You would Serengabo, Dark Bow, use your good Ricochet, and you just do tons of damage, guys. And also, obviously, you would swap to your Blackstone arrows at some point here. I kind of forgot about it, but yeah, that's pretty much all you would do. The best time to swap to Blackstone arrows would probably actually be when you're doing Rapid Fire, since they don't. Using Rapid Fire doesn't give you like Wen stacks or anything like that, so it's pretty garbage. I will say again, I'm not even swapping to my Wen stacks, by the way. Like again, I haven't ranged in a while. I'm just showing the proof of concept here. I'm not showing like, well, I'm playing range so perfectly. I'm just showing the proof of concept. So if we go to Virago again, I can demonstrate this again. Do I even have my other arrow swap here? I don't think I even have my other arrows. Like, is it even here, guys? I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna replace slot 2, guys. Where are we playing this? I'm just gonna replace that. Just put that there. Do we have slot 3? We have that there. What 2? Okay. So we're gonna start this fight again, and just to show you again a proof of concept, I'm gonna just probably cast Disruption Shield to start or something. So we're gonna go down. Wars on, and we're gonna cast this. We're gonna cast Disruption Shield. So he's gonna come down, and we're going to get our Death Spore stacks. If you can do this before the fight, that'd be a billion times easier, but we'll see. So we're going to do the Incinerate Shot thingy. We're going to do double special. Go back to your bow, and you want to build up back your stacks, and not stacks, but adrenaline. Have your Blackstone arrows on, Death Swiftness, and then Sigil into Rapid Fire, and you should pretty much get all your adrenaline back at this point. And yeah, you can just absolutely destroy Virago at this point. As you can see, he's kind of getting. Oh, I fucked up, guys. Don't do what I did. But I mean, that accuracy bonus is pretty good. And at that point, I can go back to Wind Arrows and swap with that key. And there you go, guys. What if I have like a few stacks? So I have some stacks, like 10 stacks. Yeah, 100% hit chance. So I'm just saying that might be how people do it. And again, if you could preemptively get the 10 stacks, like maybe there's minions, like the 5 stacks of Death Spore arrows, you can probably go to town and really destroy the boss. And let me kind of demonstrate what I mean with Necromancy fast, just so you have a visualization on what to do as well. Again, Virago he hurts, man. Oh man, Virago. So we're gonna put on our Necromancy prayers. We're gonna challenge Virago. I'll just overload for the sake of it, bro. Illuminate Book of War is probably not what you want to use here, but we'll put it on anyway. I have a Hellhound, so yeah. Do that. Oops, I should have cast the Lord of Bones already, but whatever. So we're gonna cast Lord of Bones, or Command Skeleton, and we're just gonna go DPS the boss. And as you see, like, it's kind of slow how much it gathers over time, but it depends on how long the fight is, if there's multiple targets or not. That's really gonna dictate whether or not you should be maybe 3 Necromancers maybe just 1. And another thing you can do is in the Ingenuity of Humans, you can use Ingenuity of Humans to do tier 90 special to have that 100% hit chance, which is also really good. But as you see, like, it takes about 4 minutes. No, maybe even 2 minutes honestly to apply all the stacks. Honestly, well, no, it's probably actually like 5 minutes. So yeah, I pretty much just 1 Lord of Bones cast gives you about 50 plus stacks. And as you can see, like, even though I'm using Necromancy, he doesn't even have any like +9 affinity like Range did. I'm already at the same hit chance that Range had, like of 91 plus. So it's just because look at my Necromancy level, 145. That's so much base hit chance. So again, Necromancy and Range are gonna be really good here. Necromancy probably definitely for the solo, And oh look, my summons died, right? All you would do is put on your bow, and even though I have 44% hit chance, it doesn't matter. You can just get all your stacks on. And he's almost capped with his stacks at this point. And okay, yep, he's capped. So then you would go back to range, Necromancy, and cast all your spells, and have a good time. I might actually die here, by the way. We're gonna put on the barricade here. And yeah, we have 100% hit chance at this point, which is pretty good. So again, both Lord of Bones and the Blackstone arrows last until next phase of Virago, or 12 minutes if there's no phases at the boss. So that's pretty good. So that's pretty much it. I will say, I was thinking of maybe you'll use melee. As you can see, like I even have a melee setup here where again, I gotta abandon this just because melee takes so much damage from Berserk. But if you're doing like, if they're like free DPS and like the boss has like a role like you want to be a tank, you can easily use whatchamacallit, dragon. So yeah, again, I'm not gonna do a whole rotation here, but well, you know what? Screw it, we'll do a rotation, guys. Excuse me. Well, I wouldn't even say this is a whole rotation, FYI. I mean, the tricky thing too is I don't have my spear with me because you need a 2H weapon to cast Meteor Strike. But essentially, you want to cast your Dragon Scimitar, and once you have your Dragon Scimitar, you can go to Barrow Chest Anchor, cast Barrow Chest Anchor. But the thing with melee is like Stasis Warhammer and Barrow Chest Anchor, you don't need to be melee to cast them anymore. That's the big difference. Like again, as long as you have above 1% hit chance, you will literally apply the full debuff. So it's not like, oh, we need a melee, or it's just we need someone just to cast these specials. So magic might be better for that, or range, but it depends. Like maybe we'll have a tank. Again, if this boss hurts like hell, like maybe the tank will be a magic person. But again, Necromancy tends to be a better tank than magic nowadays, just because of Vengeful Ghost healing. But you might have, again, maybe someone will use magic and Gothic Staff, but on top of that, maybe they'll use their excess adrenaline for Stasis Warhammer and Barrel Chest Anchor. They don't have to be a meleeer. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I will say, I don't know if I probably will try to play with someone else. Like, I have my girlfriend and also have Monzel, but like, Monzel doesn't really PVM because he always expects content to get nerfed all the time, guys, so thank you, Jetix, for that. My setup is probably going to be something like this, where I wish it was like a healing book, you know, like, or a tank scrimshaw, but there isn't a tank scrimshaw, which kind of disappoints me, honestly. But I'm probably going to be bringing a Hellhound along with a Grimoire, and just doing the rotation with Lord of Bones, and then Blackstone Arrows, and then swap back and summon all my Conjurers again. And that's probably going to be a good time. So, yeah. If you like the video, maybe you want to like comment about, you know, maybe, wow, this is really informative, or maybe you're going to try out magic and just G-staff spam, maybe you're going to go with friends. I will say, it definitely seems like I hope the most optimal way to farm this boss is doing trio. It probably will be, considering I think doing Zamorak trios is like, or duos, are even the best way to farm Zamorak nowadays, just because, you know, someone can stall damage and one guy can go to the Witch. But I'm assuming so in this case, because the adrenaline you spend on debuffing can be spent on DPS. But again, if you have more people, it equals, oh, they don't have to debuff themselves. Like, you know, so I do think the setups are going to be, and so it's either going to be a ranger with doing the debuff method I did, or someone with me who's using necromancy. The only way I could see melee being good is if there's some weird mechanic where the boss is not attackable. You have to kill minions, and you cast Dragon Scimitar special on a minion before the boss shows up to get the accuracy bonus. Do I have magic? I do have magic. One thing I do want to test fast is how Sonic Wave works. I'm not sure if you get it on hit or not. Like, I know the next hit benefits from Sonic Wave, but I just want to see what happens after. Another thing about Sonic Wave is, depending if there's a lot of minions, you might want to do greater changes to Sonic Wave. That's only if it's ridiculously tanky. But even then, there's a way to mitigate that with, or like I showed, like Lord of Bones and stuff. So I kind of doubt that'll be too useful. but we'll see. So if I cast Rack here, oh my god, wait. If I cast Rack here, I have a 47% hit chance. Cast Sonic Wave. Yeah, it went up a total of 7% damage. So even if there's 2 other targets, that's about 21% accuracy, guys. So let's see how that could work. So, oh my god, I don't care if I die. So Sonic Wave to that. Like the cooldowns are just so long. Wait till I bring it up. Like it's like I don't know. I just don't. I mean I know I'm not even doing it, guys, but because you would do Greater Chain into Sonic Wave. I don't know. Again, it's like it's not a consistent bonus, so like I kind of doubt Magic's gonna be that good there, which would be kind of funny. Again, things might change depending on maybe the upgrade from tier 95 to tier 100 or tier 99. You know, boost your accuracy that much. So yeah, I just don't think Magic's gonna be it there. I really think it's just gonna be the typical range of Necromancy meta that we've seen time and time again. And melee, again, melee does have Dragon Scimitar, but again, there's new tools. There's the Necromancy Invoke Bones Codex. There's Blackstone Arrows. So I don't, again, unless it's so tanky that you also need a Dragon Scimitar special. I also am not even talking about accuracy auras here. I don't even like Zerk auras, by the way, so that's kind of why I don't want to do that. So yeah, I mean, again, that's it. I mean, I kind of rambled on a little bit towards the end, as usual. But yeah, just tell me what you think about this. Maybe I'll help you out with your prep. But yeah, that's what I'm taking. The Necromancy setup, guys. I'm not taking range. So yeah. Bye-bye.